Hi, I'm Carolina Castorena, and this is Visions of Inspiration. Welcome to the show. I've got a very interesting and wonderful person here that's just doing a lot of wonderful things for all of us. I'd like to introduce Art Herrera.
Hi.
What a pleasure.
Good to be here.
What a pleasure to see you again. I just got to thank you right offhand for the wonderful healing that you did for me. And I know it's through God, and I know you're the, what did you say you were?
I'm a conduit.
Yeah. But, you know, I have a tendency of running with things sometimes. And it really helped me to be able to focus more and to be able to do what I'm supposed to be doing. Mm-hmm. So I want to thank you because you've done a couple of healings for me. One was, you know, at a spiritual church that was pretty awesome. It's where I met you.
Right.
You know, and you were just so generous and just so willing to help. And I thought, you know, I'm going to have him on my show someday because this man cares enough to just be right there for someone to help him because he cares. And these are the type of people that I like to have on my show, people that care about another human being no matter what. You know?
Well, thank you for having me.
So thank you again for that. So let's go back in time, okay?
Okay.
When you were growing up, you started going to church.
Right, I grew up Catholic.
Catholic. Your parents were Catholic.
Right.
Okay. And now I am Catholic, and I'm also about the charismatic movement.
Right.
And people that don't know what the charismatic movement is, would you share that, please?
Yes.
Because you were involved in that.
Right. When I was a teenager, I belonged to a youth group called Surge, and that was also connected to the charismatic movement. And the charismatic movement is very spiritual. You connect to spirit, and you receive gifts from spirit. You receive gifts of prophecy. You receive gifts of you speaking in tongues. You receive a lot of gifts from spirit. And so I would say when I was 16, 17 years old, till I was in my early 20s, I was involved in that, very, very deeply in the charismatic movement of the Catholic Church.
How did you feel when you were involved in that?
I felt very good. You know, it was funny because I had been going to, you know, CCD classes, going through all that normal Catholic Church classes and studies. And then when I got into this group, it was Bible-based, but it was also very spiritual, and it's allowing spirit to work with you. And I really resonated with that, and it was something that I really liked. And it was something that helped me grow. It seemed to make my life better, you know, because as I got closer to my spirituality, my life seemed easier.
Ah, okay. Now, when did you, okay, so now what did you do? You chose to go other places, what occurred in your life after you became an adult?
Well, you know, I still continued working with the Catholic Church. I was very Catholic. I was very involved in the Catholic Church, and what happened was when I had been a teenager, I had seen a lot of the gifts that Spirit would give, right. and I experienced them and I seen them, and so later in life I kind of drifted away from it. A friend of mine, I was going through some challenges.
Like what?
With my marriage, I was having a real difficult time there. It was a difficult.
Oh, at that time you were married. Okay, so we really went on.
Yeah,
ahead here.
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. No, this was early. I was maybe 25.
Okay.
Or maybe 29 years old, 27, 28, and at that point I was having some difficulties. And so a friend of mine took me said, I want you to meet my friend. She's going to give you a reading. And I was like, oh.
I don't think so.
I don't resonate with that. And so, but she said, no, go see this lady. So I went to go see that lady, and she talked to me, and she amazed me. And after that, she was offering meditation classes. And so I started taking meditation classes, and once I started meditating, I connected back to my spirituality, and then I started to see things and to know things, and I had always done healing of hands, but that was part of the charismatic movement thing, and so I started to really grow with that. I started to work with that. I started to get into more metaphysical groups. And it started to expand some of my awareness, started working on that, and expanded really, really quickly.
Wow.
And so I really have worked with it since, 1985, 86. So it's been a while, for over 20 years.
Now, why do you think it happened that way and not through the Catholic Church?
Well, I left the parish where I had been attending, where they were strong with the charismatic movement. I grew up in South Texas, and I left South Texas, and I joined the military, and I was stationed out here in Southern California. And the churches out here were extremely conservative, and really I didn't find a church that was connected with the charismatic movement out here. I also was involved with Cursillo movement.
Yeah.
And so I found a church here, and that was a more conservative church. And that's what I did. Yeah. And so I still attend Mass, not as often as I should. But because I like the ritual, and it's a connection. It's a connection for me, and it's also a connection to my roots.
I like that because, I've been involved with a lot of people that are healers and psychics and different, like, astrologists and people like that. And I know, as a Catholic for myself, you hear these things and say, well, that's not right, and you're not supposed to do that, and da-da-da-da. But, in my show, and I really do believe that I've had God talk to me, and in this show, I have felt that, first of all, it's called Visions of Inspiration. And second of all, it's about not so much about what religion you are, what color you are, how much money you have, but what are you doing for God's people? And from what I'm hearing from you were able to expand that in more levels, to be able to get it out there and do what your purpose in life is to help God's people, through Him, obviously.
Right. I've had a lot of opportunities to help people, to help myself, and to be of service. And I feel that that's what I'm here. That's my mission in life, is to be of service. And I really, I've always seek spirituality. I've studying the Kabbalah now,
which is
it's Jewish mysticism, and it's something that I really I like. It's something that really helps me because, again, there's a meditative process through it. You scan the name of God or the names of God, and then you meditate on it, and it's all working on yourself, trying to work on yourself, to improve yourself, to connect better with God, connect to that spirituality. And like you were mentioning earlier, where you were saying a lot of traditional Catholics will say that astrology or fortune telling is taboo. But in reality, if you read, I believe it's in Corinthians, where it says that, receiving the Holy Spirit, you will receive the gift of prophecy. You will receive the gift of understanding the truth. So, I'm not saying that we need to be connected or live our lives based on the newspaper's astrological column, or calling, to get a reading every day, but it is something that that to help us, guide us, and it should be used in conjunction with meditation and with your spirituality, however you connect to God.
Yeah. What does spirituality mean to you?
To me, it's just, my belief is we're all connected to each other because we're all connected to God. There's a spark of God within us that connects to the divine, which connects us all. We're all interconnected, all of us. Me, you, everybody, everyone in this building, we're all interconnected. And so if we can transcend ego and just work on our spirituality, then that to me is, being at that place where you're at a place of truth, where you're at a place of forgiveness, and where you're at a place of unconditional love, which is a difficult place to be. But if you can be there, that to me is spirituality, because in living at the moment, living in the moment, because if you live in the moment and you're enjoying and appreciating everything that you have, you're connected totally with God, and that's spirituality.
Well, talking about living in the moment, okay, now some people might take that wrong. Like, okay, am I supposed to just live in the moment and not think about my, my goals or what I need to accomplish, or, what I need to do for tomorrow, and I'm supposed to just live in the moment? Okay, so can you elaborate on that? Because people will misunderstand it like I have before, okay?
No, you need to dream big, and you need to have dreams, and we need to be positive, and we need to have our big dreams. But we can't be putting too much emphasis on outcomes, or we can't be putting too much expectations on our dreams. And what I mean by living in the moment is, okay, so I'm affirming that the economy gets better. I'm affirming that we have world peace. I'm affirming that everyone has health in their lives. And so, but that's a dream that I have. And so, but I'm living, I'm not worried. In other words, if I worry about how it's going to happen, or why it's not happening, or when is it going to happen, that's not living in the moment. Living in the moment is just going, I'm letting go and letting God.
Just like, okay, geez, I wonder if I'm going to keep my job tomorrow. Geez, I wonder what's going to happen. I wonder if I'm going to get in trouble. Da-da-da-da. I mean, that's not living in the moment.
Right.
That's like...
You're worrying.
And
you're projecting.
And projecting and bringing negativity into our lives. And that's not where we're supposed to go. We're supposed to keep it on the positive. And have you heard of that movie and the book called Peaceful Warrior?
Yes, I have.
Okay. That's living in the moment.
Right.
Is what they're talking about, and that's what I understand it to be. Is when you're there in that moment with that person or whatever, and you just feel all the wonderful things that are happening in that time and place, and it's a whole different concept.
Right, and it's even more. Simpler than that, even, because it's just enjoying everything that you like when you're there, when you're experiencing bliss in just to be there. But it's basically not worrying about the future and not beating yourself up about the past. Yeah. The past is behind you, the future's coming. This is all you can control.
And that's why they call the present.
Right.
Today.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So are you living like that?
Well, I try. It's it's a struggle, Yeah. I meditate every day, and that's the foundation to everything. But I'm human, and I get upset, and I also I put expectations, and I try to control things. You know,
Yeah.
we all do it, and I do
Not
it.
me.
Well, okay.
Yeah, right.
Well, I do it, and it's a difficult thing to transcend. I mean, someone asked the Dalai Lama, "Do you ever get mad?"
Mm-hmm.
And he says, "I do, but you know what? It's not as often, and I don't stay angry, and I don't get angry about little things. Just little things aren't bothering me as much. But he's human. He still gets angry, and he's a high level, very high vibration spiritual leader."
No. Well, I do believe that, and I do, I think where I'm at right now is that I can identify what's going on with me now. Okay, this is happening. Don't go there, Carolina. Back off. Go back to where you're supposed to be, and it'll take me back instead of, running with something. And here I am, I'm running with these emotions and these thoughts, and I get out of control, and then I get angry, depressed, or whatever the feeling goes through with that situation. But today I'm learning to say, okay, Carolina, don't go there. Back off, take it where it's supposed to go. And I'm learning to do that. So it does help to recognize what we're going through and to catch it.
And I believe that you're supposed to, you have that emotion, and emotions are very truthful. Feel the emotion and then allow it to go. Let it go.
Okay.
Just feel that emotion. If it's anxiety, if it's whatever it is, feel that emotion and just release it, and not dwell on the emotion. You might figure what triggered that emotion, and look at it, because there's something within you
That's true.
that probably needs to be healed.
Now, that's very, very true, because for me, coming from an alcoholic family, it's kind of dysfunctional, So I've dealt with abandonment issues, and I've dealt with codependency issues. And when there's an emotion going through with someone I care for, then what happens is that I feel sometimes not worthy, or like it's not true, or, and I have to go back and say, okay, this is what's going on. It's my abandonment issues, back off, let him go, I'm not there today,
When I work with people, because I do spiritual counseling, and when I work with people, that's the number one thing is most people have to accept that they're worthy, that they deserve to have whatever their dreams.
That's a biggie.
And once they accept that, once they come with the realization that they deserve to have whatever their heart's desire is, then they're able to not get so caught up.
Yeah, that's so true. You know what I found that has been very successful for me in my journey of growing spiritually is I learned that I needed to forgive and let go of the resentments that I've had. And once I was able to do that, not that they don't come back once in a while, but when I was able to do that, doors opened for me, and I was able to find some peace within myself and be able to deal with life so much more easier. And that's a biggie for me. When I do groups, and I'm a DUI counselor and a facilitator, and when I do groups, I share a lot about resentment and letting go of it, and how it can open doors for you, and I really believe that's so true. So where do you go with that?
Well, I totally agree with you on that. I think the number one thing that would help anyone, all of us, that the number one thing that we can do is to forgive. If you can forgive, then you let go of resentment, and you have to truly forgive. And and you can connect to spirit. You can connect and say, you know what, maybe I don't know exactly how to forgive this person or this situation, but I really I'm in that place where I want to forgive. And you'll find it that just something will flow through you, and you'll be able to let it go and forgive. And once you forgive, you let go of that baggage. You let go of that baggage, and you're able to move forward.
Now, for you, okay, you've done that, right?
I do, Etta.
Okay. Now, when you say let go of that baggage, I know what it means, but a lot of people don't know what it means. When you say let go of that baggage, what does that feel like? Do you know when you let it go?
Well, yes. I'll give you a very concrete example.
Okay.
So, a family member and I had a difference of opinion, and so we didn't speak for several years. And so one day I decided, you know what, I'm going to forgive, and I just did a meditation where I forgave him, and then all of a sudden that allowed me to release a lot of other things that were other emotions, other things that I had built up within me. And my life started flowing. So as things happened, we ran into each other at a family function, and when we got together, I was very nice. I was, gave them their space, but said hello, and and then we were able to speak, and it was a cathartic moment, I think, for both of us, and I saw that everything went really, really well.
Now, my question to you is, why do we have to let go of resentment, and why? Okay, let me put it this way. For me, I know letting go. Well, in other words, let me say this. Someone shared with me one day. He says, if you're walking down the street and somebody slaps you in the face, you're going to hold resentment. But if a year later, you're still holding on to resentment, now it's on you. Okay? So why is it so important in a few different ways that we need to let go of that resentment? Because
resentment limits you. So if someone hurts you and you opened up yourself, you opened up your heart, and someone hurts you, and you have that trust and it's been violated, now you're not trusting. Now you're not loving. And those are all resentments. And so what happens is, so you move on, you meet the next person, they're physically, emotionally, mentally, everything's compatible, but all of a sudden they do something, and it's going to trigger that betrayal.
Whoa.
It's going to trigger that resentment. It's going to trigger that hurt, and you're going to project all those feelings on this person who may or may not be at that point.
Right.
So that's why we have to forgive and let go.
Very good. Wow, I like that. What else? I have people say that I'm not going to forgive him. Look what he did to me. Why should I forgive him? Okay, what do you say to that?
Well, then you got to forgive the situation. Maybe it's like what's that saying? Forgive, but don't forget.
Yeah.
But it's when you untie that knot, because when you have something, you're knotted up. But when you untie that knot, you're able to flow. Because we're here for love. This is all about love. And if you can't love, if you have ties that aren't allowing you to love, then you're not living your life properly. And so you need to do prayer, meditation, and forgiveness. Forgiveness of the situation, forgiveness of that. Maybe not going up to that person and saying, I forgive you, but in your own way, you got to forgive them, because you need to move on with your life. Otherwise, you're going to be dragged down.
I do believe that. I know when I started working on forgiving, for me, and the hardest person for me to forgive was myself.
Exactly.
Oh my God, that was so difficult for me to do. But once I started really working on that and actually really forgiving myself and starting to love Carolina, oh my God, doors opened for me that I could not imagine would have opened for me. I found this peace inside of me, this love, and and now I can give it. Now I can give it back, and now I can receive it, because I have it to give now.
Right.
And I can receive it because I can feel it.
Right.
Big difference.
Right.
And you try to really express that and really, amplify that with your clients so that they could understand how important it is. It's like, they're not ready. Some of them are not ready. Some of them are. I've seen miracles in my classrooms with people that have turned their whole lives around. Where is your life at today?
Well, it's a journey, and this journey is, I'm on the journey. And
Are you at peace today?
I'm at peace. I still struggle within myself. Am I doing the right thing? Am I being a good parent? Am I being the best employee I can be? I still beat myself up a bit, but then, I know that, I can't worry about it. I'm doing the best I can, and really, I am. For this day, I'm going to do the best I can for myself, for my family, for my work, and just go from there, and just try to keep that connection going.
Give me some words of wisdom.
Words of wisdom.
Yes.
So, words of wisdom would be, I would say it's, God, you caught me by surprise.
I know.
It's, words of wisdom is, let go, let God.
That's awesome.
Okay?
And keep it in the moment.
Yes, of course. If you let go, let God, you're living in the moment.
All right.
Thank you,
It's such
Carolina.
a pleasure. Time goes by so fast when we're doing a show. We're having fun.
Yes.
So I really appreciate you being here, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'm Carolina Castorena. This is Visions of Inspiration. God bless all of you, and please, God bless our troops and pray for them. Thank you and goodbye.